Welcome to Central Women's Podcast and YouTube channel. We are so excited that you're with us today. My name is Cassandra. I'm here with Debbie and Christine, and I'm really excited about this. This is actually, if you don't know, this is part 2 of a couple of episodes that we're doing about a specific thing, which is our questions and how to go deeper with questions. It's called Conversations and Questions from Small Talk to Real Talk. So if you missed last week's episode, make sure you go back and watch that because it was really good and lots of information. I am more listening as you all and are learning from these two beautiful women. And today, Debbie, you have a part to share with us about going deeper in our questions and why we should be asking good questions.
Great.
Yeah.
You want to tell what you did the last?
Oh yeah, a little
before we
recap.
start.
Yeah.
Take a little recap.
Yeah, absolutely. So last episode, we talked a little bit about the questions that God and Jesus asked in the Bible, and really following along with what Scripture tells us, number one, about going deeper in our relationships and the importance of doing that. And so if you can go back and listen, there's Scripture that you can reference. There's also lists of reasons why we want to go deeper with our relationships, which is setting the tone for this episode. I mean, you don't have to go back and watch it before you watch this one, but it would be very helpful because it will help you with understanding the importance of scripturally why we want to, if you will, get better on asking questions to grow deeper in our relationships, not just with each other, but also with our Heavenly Father.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So this is practical.
Yes.
Very practical with practical stories.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start with Safeway.
Oh,
So I often run to Safeway, and I could go out the garage, and I can go to my Safeway corner, door to door, 5 minutes. And like all of us, we have a choice to make after we get our groceries. We can go through that self-checkout, or we can go through the regular checkout. And I had decided this one day, I'm going to go through this one checkout area because this woman kind of always looks sad.
Oh, okay,
Even
yeah.
kind of sour at times. So I'm just going to go through and So a few weeks ago I did that. I asked her how long she'd been working at Safeway. Instead of just asking the mundane, like going through the, how are you today? I did that. And then I said, so what time do you get off today? And then I asked her, is there anything fun you're going to do when you get off?
Yeah.
She was smiling. She said, I can't wait. I get to be with my little granddaughter. And I said, how sweet. So what do you like to do when you're with your granddaughter? And she proceeded to tell me, and she was so excited. She was a different person. Wow. And then all of a sudden, the guy behind her, he needed to check his things out.
You need to move along.
That's okay. Turn around and engage him in the conversation,
right.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to talk now about 3 weeks ago when I took a quick weekend to Colorado Springs. I took an Allegiant flight out of Mesa Gateway. And my 12-year-old granddaughter was in a community play production, The Prince of Egypt. And next to me on the plane, so there was me, empty seat, and then the gentleman over there by the window, okay? And so, I'm reading my book, he's doing his thing or whatever. We're gonna land in about 25 minutes. I think I really should probably say I or something.
Should ask a question.
Yeah. Decided to skip the level 1 question, like how are you, or whatever. And I just said, so do you live in Arizona or do you live in the Springs?
Cool.
And he told me. And what is your work? Why are you on this flight then? And how did you get into that line of work? And finally, how has your work impacted your life in the past and going forward?
Wow.
And bottom line, in about 10 minutes, this guy was sharing his life passion with me, and he was delighted to share it.
Oh,
Now I have to tell you what unfolded from the decision I made. I'm not elevating myself, trust me. I don't always do this. But the decision I made not to just have my nose in my book, So, because I didn't say like, how are you? But I said, where do you live? And then I didn't stop for the information, and then I kept going deeper. The levels of question asking evolved into him, like I said, expressing his passions in life. First, it was a gift that he had he was excited to tell me about himself, and quite frankly, he gifted me too. Because when better questions are asked, everybody wins. So it turns out that this man was the vocal trainer for some of the people in Prince of Egypt, okay? He was going to go to at least one of the performances. I was going to go to two of them.
Wow.
And in conversation, we just found out all this really fun stuff about each other. And, you know, as you noticed, I went from basic to more in depth. But, you know, I'll go back to this scenario in a few minutes, but I want to comment to all of us about our choice of the conversations that we make. By the way, I have to tell you something. At the end of the performance, he hunted me up. He looked for me, and all of a sudden there's this family. Oh, this is my new friend Tim.
Yeah.
And it's like, who knew that was what was going to happen? So, my husband Dave is a super illuminator. That's just, he's an illuminator.
Yes.
So, I know that's why people love to be around him. And they're gifted by his presence because he just illuminates people. Here's an example. Often when we go out to a restaurant, he'll, you know, when the server comes up, "Hi, I'm Ashley and I'm your server." Well, okay. Ashley comes back and he always says something. "Ashley, how long have you been working at Bobo's?" Or whatever. And she said, and then he says, "Do you like it? And what makes you want to work at Bobo's?" And this conversation goes on. Once I remember, honest to goodness, it was the end. We had dinner, and it was like this server had spilled her life out. So, okay. So again, we're tempted to say, "Hi, how are you?" And we're all busy people. This is our time. We went out to dinner or whatever. But it does make us think about the questions that we ask. Have you ever been to Creekside Tacos?
No, I haven't.
Have you been to Creekside Tacos? It's in Queen Creek. It's a fun little place, outdoorsy place, very rustic. And if you've been there, you can picture. So I was sitting out at the outdoor tables and waiting for a friend, and I noticed that there was this young fellow about 20 years old, and he was working his tail end off, busting. Just, I'm telling you, he was working so very, very hard. And he came over, and I said, "What would they do without you today?"
Oh, wow.
What would they do without you today? I really don't know, because I'm watching you, and you're allowing me to meet with a friend today, and for us to we haven't seen each other for a while, and look what you're doing to help. And so had my time, gathered my stuff together, my purse and everything at the end, and he ran over to me, and this quiet guy who'd been working really hard, and he said, "I have to tell you something, that I've been working here for a few months, and no one has ever asked me about myself. Like, you know, you were asking me questions, and so did I take the time? Yes. Could I have? Yeah, it could have looked differently. But I did do that. Again, asking quality questions deepens your relationship with God and others. So let's talk about questions with people like family and close friends, because those are people, you know, we didn't. So you're picking up your teen from school.
Yes.
Okay? And which is better? How was your day? The response could be like,
Fine.
fine.
Roll their
It
eyes.
stops.
It stops.
Right?
End of the
Kind of stops.
conversation.
Or maybe I'm being too negative about the teen's response. Maybe the teen says, "Fine." But it kind of, you know, it just stops.
It's
It ends.
like,
Yeah. So here's a better question. Like, "Oh, weren't you really excited about science today, and you were going to dissect something? Like, how did that go? Can you explain how that went?" So the first question was close-ended, right? The next one's open-ended. It invites for more conversation, right? A good question is an opportunity for engagement. And don't we all want to be engaged with our kids and our family, right?
Yeah.
So again, going deeper with God, friends, family members, coworkers, colleagues, neighbors, ourselves, the guy on the plane, guy at Creekside Tacos. But here's a question. I'm going to ask you a higher level question. What can we do differently in the area of asking questions? How can we change it up? So first of all, we have to be genuinely interested in people.
Right.
If you don't care, don't ask. if I wasn't in the mood, if I was in a bad mood on the plane or whatever, I don't think I would have asked that guy, you know, so.
Right. Because people sense that.
People
Yeah.
sense
They'll know
that.
if you're being fakey, so that's good advice, Debbie, to be genuine about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you don't always have to ask that life-changing level 4 question or whatever, but. So let me paint a picture of levels of questions. So you're going into the ocean, okay? I know where is she going with this? And you know, when we go into the ocean, we have our, you know, kind of want to feel what? The temperature.
Put our little toes in.
We want to see what's crawling around,
Yeah, what's
swimming around.
there.
We want to see how the level goes deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
And then we go, okay, yeah, we go deeper and we go like mid-knees and we go a little deeper and we feel comfortable. And then the level of the water goes a little deeper and finally, whew, we're ready to go and off we go. That's kind of how it is with the levels of questions. That we can start out shallow, maybe,
Testing
or
the water.
testing the waters,
Dipping in
and
your
to get
toes.
deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, we're at a Starbucks.
Okay.
We're at the front.
Okay.
We haven't seen her for a year.
Okay.
So, well, you're gonna say, so how have you been? Well, that's fair. You haven't seen each other for a year,
Yeah.
right? It's a level 1 question, but yeah, how have you been? Next level 2, like, well, you said you just got back from Israel on your trip, right? So, how many days were you there? What was the weather like? That's going a little bit deeper, right?
Right. Right.
A little bit deeper in the water there. What places did you visit? What were the highlights of the places that you visited?
A little deeper.
And level 4, if you want to go there, if you get there, what did you learn there that will impact your life going forward?
Yeah.
Is your perspective different now than it was before you left on your trip?
Yeah.
First, the asker is genuinely interested and is an illuminator, not a diminisher, right? Secondly, the asker refuses to do small talk, but real talk.
Right.
But what if the conversation went like this? Hey, you went to Israel? First of all, that's a close-ended question. She could say yes, and then you could go on to a different topic. She could, whatever. It could be. The conversation could change. It could be like the teen getting in the car. Did you have a good day? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Next, we have not taught, we see that there's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Can we put those in the show notes?
Yes. Yeah. For sure.
Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. But there's a level 0 basement question.
There is?
Yes?
Oh, I didn't know this.
You ready
Okay.
for this?
What's the 0 basement question?
Okay.
Okay.
You went to Israel. What made you go to a place like that where there's so much violence going on?
Oh, that's a level. I understand level 0 now.
Basement,
That's bad.
level 0.
Bad.
Or your teen gets in the car and you say, what were you thinking when you wore that shirt to school today?
Don't.
That's level 0.
It's
So,
oh
you see the
gosh,
difference
yeah.
between levels of questions? Do you see the difference between illuminators and diminishers? Let's go back to Starbucks again. Okay?
Okay.
So, you asked the question, oh, you went to Israel. And you proceed then, and she says, yes, I did. And you proceed to say, I went to Israel 5 years ago, and this is what I did. And you start breaking down your whole trip. This is what I like best. This is what I like.
I know people like that.
Yeah.
That was my next question. Do you know people like that?
Yes, I'm not going to say who, but yes.
Yes.
It's not fun.
No, diminisher.
Yeah.
Not an illuminator, a diminisher. Now, we can do that at times on a smaller scale, not like this, but well,
Yeah.
hopefully not like this.
Yeah.
But-
Even unintentionally.
Yes.
Unintentionally.
I mean, I'm not sure if
You
they're
get so
aware
excited
of
or whatever.
self-aware. Some are,
Yeah.
but some.
I have walked away from a conversation before going, ooh, I made that a lot about me. I shouldn't have done that. I have done that, yeah.
That's why we're doing this,
To
to
be
help,
more-
so that we
Yeah.
can grow in all these areas.
Yeah.
So instead of supporting her trip, you shifted to your trip.
Yeah.
So do you see the difference between
Yeah.
a support response or a shift response? Okay. So,
Yeah.
anyway, just so you know,
Yeah.
those are things that we need to be aware of.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that checker at Safeway.
Okay.
She went from the sour face to the joy face, right? When she told me she was going to get to be with her granddaughter, I could have said, I have a granddaughter too. And you know what we love to do? We love to make jewelry together. And I'm going to be flying to Colorado and I'm going to be seeing her soon. And
You just made it all about you.
so that is not an illuminator,
Right.
that is a diminisher. Do you see the support response versus the shift response? Okay. So we have a choice to illuminate or to diminish them. We also have a choice to be response supporters instead of response shifters. So let's have just some comments and discussions about this.
So
What do you think about these thoughts?
I first of all, I did read the book when you told me what we were going to be doing. I wanted to read the book to kind of prepare because I really hadn't explored this at all. And it really made me understand some of why my relationships with some family members is a little more difficult because they are natural diminishers and shifters. And that just became very clear to me. It's like, and also how I don't want to do those things, and so hopefully I see those things when I'm doing them. But this has really shined a light on it and how I can help how I can deepen my relationships, especially with my children and with my husband. Like, am I asking on a regular basis, "Oh, how was work today, honey?" That's probably not the best question. Like, what other creative questions can I come up with when I see him? Like, oh, how'd your meeting go with so-and-so? Like, ask him more. Or were you able to, I know you're really excited about this project. How did that go? How to ask, and it just deepens your relationship and with somebody instead of, I really don't want to spend time with that person.
Yeah, same thing. Wow, I just really opened up my eyes about relationships and really challenging me to really think through my questions. With my husband and just my children and grandchildren and other family and friends, digging deeper into understanding their life. Like even my niece, I was telling you guys earlier, I saw this last weekend, and just newly reading the book, when I left, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask this and this. And so, I didn't beat myself up. I was like, okay, I recognize that I want to do better.
Yes.
And so now I can focus a little bit better.
And
so
it really changed how I spent this last weekend. I was helping at our Gilbert campus in Kidsman. I was just helping out. And it was right after I finished reading this book. And so I was able to ask some questions. And so we had a new volunteer, and it was their first time. And I thanked them for being there. I said, what made you want to volunteer in kids ministry? And that just started a whole conversation that I never would have had with that person. I could have just said, oh, thank you so much for being here today. We'll see you next week. I could have said, that would have been fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But to take that one extra step and just ask a little bit, now I know that person a little bit better. And now we have a little bit more of a connection. So next time I see them, we can even connect a little bit, hopefully a little bit more. And
and
good.
as a leader that you are, you then gave her value.
Yes.
She feels valued. So those are the people in leadership position, and I know, Debbie, you and I are retired, but you're still in leadership position. It really does matter, the people that you're leading and how you do interact with them and how you make them feel. How you can't make them feel a certain, but how they feel after the interaction with you.
Right.
Yeah, and you do have control.
That what they're doing in volunteer, it matters.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm going to close with a story, and then I think that when we come together for the next time, I would love to, maybe we could role play.
Sure.
Okay.
And I could
I'm starting to sweat. Okay.
I could also, we could ask some of these engaging questions.
Okay.
We have a whole list of them.
Great.
Okay, we'll figure something out.
But I want to close with a story.
Okay.
So we moved to Arizona about 16 years ago, and we have a neighbor who was just a hi, how are you type thing, open
Yeah.
and close the garage door type thing. And so for years it was kind of that way. And I was just determined a few years ago that I just, and little by just showing you care, I cared, and all, is completely different. So the levels of questions where you start with often agree.
I appreciate you guys trusting my editing.
Yes, immensely. 100%. It's been great.
Okay.
So Dave and I moved to Arizona 16 years ago, and one of our neighbors was like the hi, how are you,
Yeah.
and the garage door goes down and up, and that. So things have completely changed. So, the levels of questions that we've been talking about, actually, it's like level 1 is often a greeting, not expecting an answer. 2, asking a question just for facts. 3, asking to learn something new or interesting. And 4, asking a question to cause deeper thought, feeling, deep feeling or whatever. We're at the level 4. Now, you don't want to have that goal to go to 4 all the time. You can't always do it.
Yeah.
But it did happen with her, and now I was able to ask her the other day, how are you feeling about your mom's illness, and how are you processing it, and are you able to call out what your needs are, and how can I help you? And I mean, we're able to talk
A
about
real
that.
conversation.
That's pretty deep, yeah.
Yeah, real talk.
Yeah.
Now, would I have guessed that even maybe 5 years ago? No. But it's been a sweet process, and in fact, she kind of looks for me. And, so
awesome,
it's sweet.
yeah.
It's
Love
very
that.
sweet.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're gifting people with our questions as we wrap up.
Yeah.
We're going from small talk to real talk.
Yes.
To real talk.
Yes.
So I think that we ought to, in the next episode, give you some real practical questions to ask, and maybe we should role play.
Okay, we'll see how
think?
that goes.
All right. We'll see, guys.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, no judgment next time.
Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and to share this with your friends if you enjoyed it, and watch a previous episode if you missed that. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye, ladies.
Bye.